So as you can see, public and third sectors team, and the bank has just celebrated its 40th birthday last year. We're moving on. Right, so as I say, that's quickly what I'm going to cover off today. So the bank itself is what you'd probably call an ethical/sustainable bank. So we're all really about the community, about giving back. We don't borrow money from other institutions for our lending. So we're quite a unique bank in the sense that any money we get from deposits gets lent out to organisations, charities and businesses who make good in the community. So it's all about that. What we call our double bottom line. So it has to make an impact. So we won't have customers who save with us, who invest with us, who lend from us, unless they can prove that they're making something good out of the community. And part of that is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So they have to show us an evidence that they are doing something that is making an impact. As a bank, we offer business savings accounts, we offer current accounts, payment merchant services and things like that, and loans as well. So as you can see, for those that don't know much about the bank, it was formed in 1984, originally set up by the trade unions in cooperation with the cooperative bank. Over the years, we've kind of branched out. The trade unions are still majority shareholders, but we split from the cooperative bank in 2015. So we've now been wholly independent from the co-op for 10 years. And as I said before, we're a purpose-led bank. We're all about values, ethos and values, and the mission is to provide customer-driven, ethical and sustainable banking services to commercial organisations. And also, top of the list there is charities, councils and specialist areas, really. So business model, I won't go into much detail here, but as you can see, our double bottom line is embedded in our DNA. So it's all about delivering positive social impact and change by lending and by taking borrowing from our customers. Here we got the impacts. So it talks about our customers, our purpose, and these are the Sustainable Development Goals and how we reach those. So, social economy, creating jobs and supporting local economies, organisations, addressing climate change. So we have got a head of climate change and sustainability in the bank, and he's someone who works on our impact grants and things like that. So we work a lot on sustainability and the environment. So where we haven't got a photo, he's not hiding away. Aaron is actually new to the team, so we're just in the process of getting his professional pic done. This is my support team. So my boss is at the top, that's Leanna McEwen, and she's our funding director, and she's the overall head of the public and third sectors team. And I'm supported by Hannah, our deposit desk manager, and then Aaron and Sally, who pick up the day-to-day back office things for us, and they work on all the specialist sectors and also on the council and the charities. Within our team, obviously I'm head of public sectors, we've also got head of charities, and then we've got 3 dedicated relationship managers who solely work on deposits. So the lady who spoke before about wanting to get more from her money, I think it was Louis and Marie and Joe, I think it was, who spoke earlier. Yeah, the 3 deposit managers are regionally located around the UK. They can come and see you in person. They can do Teams calls. And it's all really about making the most from your money. So I'll talk about deposit products a bit later on and show you a few rates. But these 3 guys and girls, they come out and they will talk about the best for you. So they'll work out, how often do you need access to those funds? Can you put those funds away for 30 days, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? And if you can, then you're going to gain more interest by doing that. And they'll talk about that and work out the best solution for you. So it's very bespoke. We're not all about fitting square pegs in round holes. It's more about making things work, especially for your council, what suits you and what best for your council. So as I mentioned before, at the moment we're averaging about 40 to 50 new council accounts a month, and that's in addition to the 3,000 plus councils that already sit with us. what they are finding is that we have a better understanding of the sector and of their structure. And we also work very, very hard to gain feedback from them and the local council associations so that we can improve our proposition. So one of the things that we've got down now to a reasonably good fine art is the account opening process, which I'll talk more about later. But for councils now, we're able to open a brand new account for a new to bank council within the working week. So normally it's about 3 to 5 working days. Mandate change. There have been delays over the last few months, which have increased our SLA, our service level agreement. But I think that's still considerably less than the high street, and we've now upped our resource. So we're within that now. So it's about a fortnight, about 14 working days to get a mandate changed. So as I mentioned earlier, the banking products that we offer, current accounts, and they are split between different tiers. So the current account themselves is the same product, no matter what size of council you are, but the tiers are the pricing structure. So all our current accounts are £6 a month, and that doesn't matter whether you're a parish council, a parish meeting, a community council, a town council. It's £6 a month across the board, and that's for all our sectors, and that's for every current account. When it comes down to pricing within that, depending on the amount of your turnover, will depend on electronic banking charges. So it can range from tier 1, which is the lowest level, and there's no fees for electronic banking transfers at all, up to tier 2, which would be 15 pence. And then there's a more bespoke offering for those that are 2 million plus. Savings accounts, we offer the instant access savers, and we also offer fixed rate deposit accounts, which go from as minimum of 30 days up to 12 months. Business loans, we can look at business loans for councils where there may be infrastructure projects and things like that you might need some borrowing for, overdrafts, and also payment services. So moving on a little bit about account opening for councils and what to consider. With us, our account opening form is an online form. We are just literally about to launch a brand new form for councils, which has been about 18 months in the working. This is a form which has been written for councils, so it's bespoke for councils in council terminology. So what you'll find in the high street banks is you'll go for an account opening form. It'll be pretty generic. They'll ask you for your shareholders and your directors. They'll ask you to send them your business plans. Most of it will be completely irrelevant to your structure, and you'll probably get your form rejected because you haven't submitted the right supporting documents, because they haven't understood your structure. The new form we're about to launch is a form which asks about your precepts. It asks about your activities as a council and any other income you might get as a council. And it asks about how many councillors you've got and various different things in relation to your council business. So it's not generic, and it is very bespoke to how you run your day-to-day council business. What we don't do, which is still obviously way within the regulations, but we don't go out and ask for documentation and verification and copies of passports and driving license on every single councillor in the council. If those councillors or those individuals on the committee are not part of the day-to-day banking, they don't do online banking, or they're not signatories, we don't need to know about them. They'll be listed on the account opening form, but we don't need their identification and verification documents. In the first instance, when you submit your form online, the form will automatically do what's called an eKYC check, which is a check that the bank can do against all sorts of open source systems and open access systems now to verify identities automatically within seconds, which tells us whether the information you've provided on your form matches verification documents that are out there and open and available to banks. If it matches and verifies against what your form has been inputted, we don't require any further information at all on those individuals, and you'll get a response back from us to say whether additional information is required or not. Only in the circumstances where the eKYC has failed, and that doesn't mean there's any problems with that person. It just means that we haven't got sufficient background information available to us automatically. Would we require additional information like a copy of a driving license, passport, or a utility bill? So it's only in the extreme circumstances we would require additional identity supporting information. When it comes to account opening itself, is it easy to fill the application form in? It is relatively easy, and us as a team are available to assist you. If you wanted to have a helping hand at any point, you could give us a call and say, I'd rather have someone online to help me talk me through the form whilst I'm doing it. Would you mind coming on a Teams call and doing the form with me? No problem at all. We're more than happy to do that with you. Application form, as I said, is about to be rolled out in a new version, probably in the next 2 to 3 months, which is the bespoke council version. And that will make it even simpler again. Timescales from the moment you submit the form, providing everything is as per our criteria, I would say it's probably going to be open within the working week. It could be even within 2 or 3 days. What we have just completed is a new checklist for councils, which what I would recommend is if you are looking to switch, you drop us an email and say, I'm looking to switch. Could I have a copy of the checklist? And actually it's on our local council's website now within the Unity website. So if you go into the web link on this presentation at the end and go to the local council's page, under the useful documents bit, the latest checklist is on there. And if you go to the checklist, it's actually a step-by-step guide of exactly what we need from you before you submit that form. So providing you follow the checklist to a T, when you come to fill that form in, you'll have everything you need and there shouldn't be any missing information, and it should hopefully glide through without any effort at all. How do you switch? Well, I'm not sure if you are aware of the 7-day switch scheme. It's mostly known in personal banking, where you can switch your account from one bank to another within 7 working days. The same applies to business banking. It only applies to your current account, and there are some sort of limitations, I would say, to that. So the only limitation I would warn you against on the CAS, which is current account switch scheme, is that your mandate at your existing bank has to exactly match the new application. So all the officials and signatories, account name and everything has to exactly match what your new account is going to have. If it doesn't, you've got 2 options. The one is that you change the mandate at your existing bank to match what your potential new mandate is going to be with us. Or if you haven't got that many standing orders, direct debits and things which would move across with the current account switch scheme, I would just say, no, it's probably not worth the hassle of doing the mandate change at the old bank. Let's just say no to the current account switch service and we'll do it manually. And all you do then is you just contact those that you've got direct debits with and ask them to send you a new mandate, and you amend that mandate with your new bank details. And then you just transfer any balance you have at your old bank and move it across to the new account. The current account switch scheme comes in 2 variants. So you've got the full switch and a partial switch. Full switch is where you would request that all standing orders and direct debits transfer to your new account. And in the process of doing that, the old account is closed down once that's happened and the balance is transferred to the new account. The partial switch is where you do that, but you are in control. So it might be that you maybe say that you only want some of those payments to transfer over, or that you actually don't want that account closed at the end of the switch, that you will actually request that closure yourself when you want that account to close at a later date. So that's the current account switch scheme. I don't think there's anything more to say on the current account switch scheme, but what would normally happen if you did request the current account switch at the account opening stage on your form is that once the form's been submitted and your account is open, a member of our current account switch scheme would get in touch with you and say, I understand you want to do the switch. Let's arrange a convenient time to make this switch happen. And that's when they start the ball rolling with the bank at the other side to set a date up to do the official switch. One recommendation is that you do this at a quieter period of the month if you are making salary payments and things like that, because what you don't want to do is for the switch to happen at a time in the month where you've got a load of standing orders and direct debits or salaries to go out, because if you're in between two banks on that day, it could cause a disruption. Supporting documents, what do I need? So when you're opening a new account with the council, basically follow the checklist. The checklist will guide you through. So off the top of my head, it's things like the standing orders and a copy of your latest minutes, which would need to be signed by the key contact or by the chair. It's nothing really more than that. If you've got a constitution, if you are set up in a different way, a copy of the constitution. Online banking authorization, security is key. So online banking, we offer single, dual and triple authorization. We don't tend to automatically open a single authorization these days. There would be probably questions and we'd probably come back and ask why. It's normally dual or triple authorization because we are very security conscious, and we want to make sure that your money is protected too. So one thing to consider is signatories, key contacts and online users. So unlike other high street banks, you can be a key contact and have full dealings with us as a bank and access to view without actually being a signatory. So there are differences there. But if you wanted more information on that, I'm more than happy to provide that. So what sets us apart? We haven't got any branches. We have got dedicated specialist team available. So if you've got any problems that are non-transactional, obviously if they're transactional, you go to our Unity Connecting. If they're non-transactional, if they're complex, if you've got questions, concerns, you come to us and we'd be more than happy to set up a Teams call or a telephone call. And where in respective deposits, if you know you wanted a deposit relationship manager to come out and see you, that's no problem at all either. So what happens to cash and checks if we haven't got branches? So we have an arrangement with NatWest and you can pay cash and checks into a NatWest branch. You can pay cash into a post office and you can post checks to our free post address. So you can stick it into an envelope with no stamp on and stick it in the mail, and then they will be scanned by our scanning centre and sent on to us to be deposited in your account. Our ethos and values match yours. So, the high street, they have got, certain ways about them, and with lots of these fossil fuels and sustainability and net zero and things like that, we know they're working towards that. But ethos and values is what we've been set up with from the beginning. So for 41 years, you know that that's always been our priority. Also, everything is based from our headquarters in Birmingham. So our credit team is there, our telephony team is there, our mandate change, our account opening team. And I go in probably 2 or 3 times a month. And if there are any complex issues that I think I need to speak to mandate change or account opening team on, I can walk across the floor and speak to them personally. So that's the difference. We're a bit more personal, and we know people by first names, and things don't go into a black hole. So it's a nice atmosphere. It's a nice working environment. So just to cover off the basics, we've created a checklist. Please ask for a copy or just go to our website and go to the local council's page. It's under the useful documents there. Council needs to decide who the key contact will be. Normally it's the parish clerk or the town clerk or the RFO. So it could be a deputy clerk, but someone who's going to have the sort of the key contact and the communication with the bank on a regular basis. You may want to decide who the signatories are, and also any officials who maybe aren't signatories on checks but may require access to the online banking. They can be view only or they can be view and authorizer. It's up to you how you want to set it up. It's pretty flexible. We can also set up certain rules. So if you want people to make payments up to a certain amount, you can set it up so that they may be more junior individuals who you'd like them to authorize in your absence, but only up to a certain amount. We can do that. It's not a problem. As I mentioned previously, identity checks are carried out automatically, but there may be times where we do require additional KYC, which is know your customer documentation. 9 times out of 10, they do fly through and we don't ask for additional, but just to sort of give you and manage expectations, there are times where we aren't. Supporting documents, as I mentioned, the checklist will give you a detailed description of what is required, and it's not an onerous list, but normally it's just the standing orders and minutes that are required. And again, support. You felt very unloved over the years and unvalued by the high street banks, and we are now following a lot of feedback, and we're trying to sort of get to a position where the proposition is fit for purpose, and also future proof. Our team's been set up to provide additional help, and we can also monitor ongoing applications. So if you have something urgent, either a mandate change or require additional accounts, and it's of an urgent nature. So say, for example, you've got somebody who has left, a clerk who's left, and you can't access your accounts, or you need to make payments and you've got insufficient signatories and you need to submit that mandate change as a matter of urgency so that you can continue business. You contact us and say, listen, we've got a real urgency here, could you help? As soon as you submit that application, we can take that reference number from you and we can get that escalated with the team in Birmingham and get them to raise that as a priority. As I mentioned, local council's website is easy to use, and that directs you to useful documents and product information as well. And as always, we value any feedback, positive and negative. So we always pass this on. It's something that we really value, and it's something that we use for product development and for making sure that changes are made if there's areas that we feel there should be some improvement. So moving on to deposits. As I mentioned, our deposits will fund lending, and it's all part of sustainable development goals. And it's about providing that environmental, social, and economic need. We offer a various number of deposit accounts. I'm not sure if you can see that easily, but so if I can scroll in on that for you. So we offer, actually, I won't do that. I'll just come off that. So we offer the instant access account, which comes in at 2.25% at the moment. That's instant access, obviously, as it says in the name. And then the 5 other fixed rate or fixed term deposit accounts we offer are a 30-day, 90-day, 6-month and 12-month. And they vary from 2.96 up to 4.1. Now, these are no access, so once you put those in, it's not easy to get those funds out. They're not made for withdrawals during that period. It's not to say that in a situation where you desperately needed those funds, we would say no, but that is not for access generally once you put them into the fixed rate. The fixed rates are quite competitively priced. As you can see, minimum deposits are 85,000 on those. We do provide a DocuSign service, which negates the need for wet signatures. And if that's an area that you'd like, you'd need to contact us and we can add you in to register you for a DocuSign. This is just a brief excerpt from our newest impact report, which comes out annually, what our customers say. So one of our biggest advocates is Danny Moody, who's Chief Executive of the Northamptonshire County Association, and he's always been a big supporter of Unity, and really great relationship with Danny, and we try to get to his event every year. We're there again this year. But yeah, we've got lots of customers like this. Not to say we're perfect, but we're hoping to sort of be the bank of choice going forward. And on to sustainability, I'm not going to go into great detail here, but just to say that our net zero commitment's aligned to our double bottom line. And we hope that we'll achieve net zero across all emissions by 2045 and our own emissions by 2035, which is quite an achievement, I think. So these are the contact details. I think John's going to send slides round afterwards, but as you can see, there's a dedicated local council's email address, and that's to come to the team direct. As I mentioned previously, this isn't for transactional banking inquiries because we can't do those for you. That is the Unity Connect team that do those. But if you have complex queries, any concerns or issues, then you just email this local council's email box and we'll come back to you, normally the same day, or at least the following day at worst. And then up here we've got the website, which is the sectors and local council's website. This is the main Unity Connect number there in the middle. So any questions? I'll come off the slideshow so I can see some faces.